Before the internet turned mature content into the entertainment equivalent of fast food, there were movie theaters, videotapes, and a handful of performers who were so magnetic they surpassed the industry into pop culture mythology. Seka was one of them, with her sharp blonde hair, steel blue stare, and a knack for owning every room she walked into. She became the Platinum Princess. A title that sounds like cheap marketing, but in her case, actually stuck. Dorothea Ivonier Hundley was born in 1954 in Radford, Virginia. Her childhood was, by her own account, plain normal. Siblings, school, nothing remarkable. But in Hopewell, where the family later moved, she picked up her first taste of the spotlight, winning a local beauty contest and eventually being crowned Miss Southside Virginia. At 18, she married Francis Frank Patton and clocked in at Reynolds Metals Company, punching in a time card along with all the other working-class young adults. However, a restless soul, her first marriage ended in divorce. She moved around and ended up working in an adult bookstore where she started dating the owner. At the back of the store, 8mm reels and coin-operated displays opened her eyes to another world entirely. As the relationship progressed, her boyfriend became a business partner, and the couple acquired more stores. "I owned 7 bookstores at one time," she later said. Those booth quarters funded her first empire, but they also gave her perspective. Watching ordinary girls on screen, she figured she could do better. Vegas was the chrysalis, one photo shoot, a peroxide accident, and a borrowed name from a blackjack dealer. Seka is an affectionate term for sister in Serbo-Croatian. Suddenly, the Virginia tomboy was gone. In her place stood Seka, a woman who looked like a Bond girl dipped in frost. "The platinum hair was a mistake," she said. "Afterwards, I thought, I like this." That accident would help define her. Directors noticed her sharpness, her refusal to play dumb or pliant. Even from the start, she arrived in full stride. Her feature debut came in Dracula in 1978, a camp horror mashup packed with an all-star lineup of Golden Age heavyweights. Most new actresses would have been chewed up in that company, but not Seka. The platinum-haired newcomer turned heads immediately, not just because of how she looked on camera, but because she refused to fold. When asked to perform an unscripted scene with John Leslie, added by the star because he was keen to act alongside her, she flat out declined. It was not part of the contract. In an industry where women were often expected to be compliant, Seka walked in and set the rules. Her next big screen moment was Blonde Fire, a Freeway Films production that, like many films of the era, shuffled around release schedules. Shot before Dracula but released after it positioned Seka as Johnny Wadd's girlfriend. The film was set in South Africa and drenched in pulp noir vibes, but Seka's short scenes stole the show. Director Bob Chin recalled that she demanded a robust, non-negotiable paycheck for one day's work. An audacious move for someone's first feature role. But Chin knew instantly she wasn't just another actress in the lineup. Beautiful, blonde, bold, and businesslike, he said. "I knew immediately she was going to be a big star. She knew it too." By 1980, Seka had proven she wasn't just a pretty face on a box cover. She became the first woman to ink a contract with Swedish E, a major studio move that gave her financial stability and cemented her status as a power player. That same year, she also dove headfirst into some of the most memorable roles of her career. In Prisoner of Paradise, she stepped into the boots of Ilsa, a World War II officer modeled after the cult exploitation anti-heroine from Ilsa, She-Wolf of the SS. For Seka, the role was pure camp villainy, a chance to unleash what she called her Hyde side, sneering and tormenting her captives, including Holmes himself. If Dracula had introduced her Prisoner of Paradise, showed the range she was willing to play with. Also in 1980, she starred in Ultra Flesh, a cosmic slice of sci-fi genre film crossover directed by Svetlana. Here she appeared as an alien dispatched to Earth to cure the global epidemic of impotence. The premise was ridiculous in the best way, but the film became a cult hit, remembered as one of the more imaginative relics of the era. And then came Inside Seka, half feature, half autobiography. It was a film that blurred the line between fantasy and reality. Seka starred, wrote, and directed alongside her longtime boyfriend Ken Yont. Co-stars such as R. Boller and Ron Jeremy also entered the fray. By this point, Seka's look, platinum hair, crisp blouses, and expensive jewelry had become iconic. The film leaned into that image, presenting her as equal parts elegant diva and voracious lover. Between the scripted vignettes and supposed real-life encounters, Inside Seka made it clear that she was an actress at the top of her game. The publicity campaign sealed it, branding her forever as the Platinum Princess. By the mid-80s, Seka wasn't just acting, she was writing, directing, producing, and touring clubs like a rock star. She even crossed over to the mainstream in 1986, making history as the first mature film star on Saturday Night Live, alongside her then-boyfriend comedian Sam Kinison. Her personal life was messy, the long entanglement with Ken Yonts, her controlling boyfriend/manager, was a cause of complication. She testified before the Mies Commission in 1988, fighting for the industry's right to exist without government censorship. That was a fight worth fighting, she said. It wasn't just for women. As human beings, we have to stand up for ourselves. But as the AIDS epidemic shook the industry, Seka grew disillusioned with the lack of suitable response. In 1992, at the height of her fame, she walked away. Leaving the film industry didn't dim her spotlight. She modeled, hosted a Chicago radio show called Let's Talk About Sex, and kept her fan base alive through live shows and later, during the 1990s, through her website. In 1997, she received the Free Speech Coalition's Lifetime Achievement Award. Director Brian De Palma said she had genuine acting chops. Paul Thomas Anderson cited her as the inspiration for Amber Waves in Boogie Nights. By the time she published her autobiography Inside Seka in 2013, she was no longer just an industry star. She was a cultural figure, a feminist curiosity, a living reminder of when mature filmmaking still felt like rebellion. Seka was never anonymous, never just another performer lost in the haze of VHS covers. She was a brand before the word meant hashtags, a woman who understood how to control her career while keeping her dignity intact. More than 40 years later, the image of Seka, platinum hair, arched brow, sly half-smile, lingers strongly. She was, and remains, the Platinum Princess, part fantasy, part trailblazer, part business mogul, and wholly unforgettable, a true legend of the business.